Buying your first home is a monumental milestone.
We did it!
Filled with excitement for most and some anticipation for others, but for many people, that dream can actually come with a lot of different regrets.
Regretfully.
You might think this is impossible, but in fact, a recent survey done by the Toronto Sun found that 82% of first-time home buyers wish they had done things differently when it came to buying their first home.
Try again!
So today we are going to uncover the top 5 regrets these new homeowners have, and most importantly, how can you avoid these as a potential homeowner in the future. Now we're going to cover 5 different regrets here. The 5th one is extremely important, so don't forget to stay tuned throughout the whole video. Let me know in the comment section down below which one of these regrets you have personally experienced if you've already been through the home buying journey yourself. The first is understanding the actual costs when you're buying a home. A lot of us are looking at the purchase price of a home, whether it's a condo, whether it's a townhouse, a detached, whatever the type of home may be. You are looking at the surface price, what you'll see on MLS, what you see online, but you're not thinking about the rest. So the most common regret here is underestimating these costs to actually home ownership as a whole. It's not just about that mortgage. There's property tax, there's the maintenance of the home, there's the unexpected repair costs, and repair costs can come, just snap your fingers, wake up in the middle of the night, and there's a repair that needs to be done, and they add up extremely quickly. Did you know that there's actually experts out there that recommend you set aside at least 1% of your home's value for your annual maintenance? For a $500,000 home, for example, $5,000 should be set aside each year. This number might need to be moved a little bit depending on what your area is like, what your market is like. Maybe 1.5% makes more sense for you. If you think your home might be worth $1 million and your property tax is already $9,000, obviously $1,000 additional dollars is not going to cover the maintenance and repair. So look at this and adjust it accordingly for your specific situation. So the tip here, budget that 1% of your home's value for the additional maintenance to give yourself at least a little bit of a buffer should you have an issue. I'm hopeful that a lot of homeowners out there are not having reoccurring issues every single year, but it's definitely possible, and it depends on where you live. If you live in the GTA, you are unfortunately experiencing 4 different types of climate, whether it's the warmth, the cold, somewhere in between. So stuff is constantly expanding and contracting, and we've got different weather exposed to our homes, and that just throws the wrench in some of our situations when it comes to the financials and the repair costs that are involved. The second thing is these first-time home buyers regretted rushing to getting into home ownership. I know it's exciting. You want to get into home ownership, and especially once you start the journey, once you're out there looking at houses, hopefully with your realtor, and you start to see things you like, you are getting that feeling of you're just shopping. You're at the mall almost, you're out there looking at what you like, and you're ready to act extremely quickly. Now the downside here is if you act too quickly, you might overlook certain things of the home. So if you are experiencing our 2021, 2022 market here in the GTA, it's tempting. Obviously, there's a rush here. You want to avoid losing out on a bidding war. You're in a panic. You skipped some key steps. Potentially, you skipped something like getting a mortgage approval or having any conditions whatsoever, a financing, a home inspection, maybe looking over the condo financials. And what happens is if you have overlooked some of or all of these steps, you're potentially going to have issues down the road, or maybe you already have issues as you're watching this video. You're nodding your head with me, but these are regrets that first-time buyers are noting in this survey here. So make sure you're not just settling for what's available, but also kind of considering different factors like the resale value, neighborhood trends in the area, what's the long-term potential here, and if you're making a rush decision, you might not have time to actually go through this whole process, and you don't want to go through this purchase with regret immediately. Nobody does, even if it's just buying a pair of shoes, but a home is the biggest purchase you're likely going to make. Now, there's FOMO for everything. You don't want to miss out. This was the perfect home. We'll never see one again, but don't let that deter you from the most important thing, and that is taking your time and making sure the decision is right for you. Now, the third regret that homeowners are banging on the door telling us about here are they've chose the wrong location. Especially the last few years, you may have had no vision of you ever having to go back to the office. You were only work from home, you were feeling good, and now the office is knocking on your door telling you, hey, you gotta come back to the office at least several days a week, but you might have moved 2 hours away. Logistically, this is not gonna be something you're super excited about, but is it even feasible? You didn't think about this when it came to buying a home. Now you're gonna have to deal with the repercussions on this side of things. So location, location, location. You don't wanna choose the wrong location when it comes to a situation like this. But in general, picking the right location can make or break your real estate future and your financial future with this home. So first-time buyers, they regret prioritizing location for so many different reasons, but neighborhood is important. Your daily routine, including work, is very important. How long is that commute? Maybe there's no commute, you're at a home office, but now you are going to experience what that commute is like. What are the schools like? Maybe you don't have kids now, but you want kids in the future. And is there access to things? Maybe you have a pet, maybe you got a dog, so you want to know if there's parks, shops, transit nearby. All of these things are all encompassing in choosing the right location, which is why this is a regret. People are not choosing the right location because they're not thinking about all of these things. They might be thinking about one or two, but you really got to take them all into consideration to make sure you buy the right house for you. Now, the GTA, you might not have a choice. In some cases, there's not a lot of affordability out there in the downtown core if you wanted a detached house. So you may have settled for something. Just understand that resale side of things, location means quite a bit. And you can never change the location of the home, but you can always renovate what's inside the home. And that's a really big key point I want you to take out of this video here. The fourth regret that these first-time home buyers have, they ignored their future needs. Ultimately, you might be buying your first house at 30 years old. Perfect. You don't have a care in the world. Maybe you don't have a spouse, a significant other, kids, or a pet. But there's a lot of life ahead of you, and there's a lot that's going to change. Not for everybody, but in most cases, things are going to change. You're focusing on your current needs, but you're not thinking about how quickly things change and what your future plans might be. Do you want to start a family? Do you want remote workspace for yourself? Potentially, there's a job change in the future. Do you want somebody to move in and grow in the property with you? You don't want to get stuck in a property that feels perfect for you right now, but the moment you put anything in there that's not yours, you're going to feel like you're just trapped in a box. So think about things like storage, flexibility of the layout, renovations that you can potentially do to make this space better in the future should you need to upgrade that space. That way you're not regretting it later. Put your future needs into the purchase, not just your current needs. And the fifth and final regret that buyers are having is skipping getting professional advice. Whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a mortgage representative, whether it's a realtor, a buyer can get so confused over paperwork. There's a lot of nuance that goes into doing a real estate deal. Not to say you can't do it alone. If you've done it before, congrats, good for you. There's a lot of people who are able to purchase and sell without a realtor, but a lot of people would prefer the guidance of us and for it to be on our shoulders instead of the buyer's shoulders. So buying your first home, yes, it's exciting. And if you skip professional advice, you're buying your first house, maybe you don't do a home inspection because you didn't know who to use. Maybe you used the wrong lawyer to look at the mortgage documents, and guess what? There's issues with the reserve fund that the condo has. Maybe you used a mortgage broker that was just at the bank and they were just trying to get you to do any type of mortgage. And now you're on the hook for a mortgage that you're not too keen about. As a realtor in the GTA, I've helped countless buyers, first-time home buyers specifically, avoid a lot of these common pitfalls. Now, I assure you, I can help you every step of the way. I can navigate the purchase with you, but I can also direct you in different directions should you need other advice. So we've got lawyers on our pocket here. We also have mortgage brokers. We've got different assets that we can share with you so that way you can make the right decision. And at the end of the day for us, we'd rather you buy the right house regardless of how long that process takes. So if it's going to take you only a couple months to buy a property, that's fantastic. If it's going to take you a year, that's also fine, as long as you are going through the process and understanding what goes into it to find the right property for yourself without putting that stress and that rush on you. Ultimately, you want to work with an experienced professional on any facet of the real estate transaction, and navigating this home buying process, I'd rather have that stress on my shoulders and alleviate some of that burden for you. If you're looking for any assistance in the GTA, feel free. You can text me at the number here on the screen. I'd be excited to give you a hand throughout that process. If you're looking to maybe have a one-on-one discovery call with me to even dive further than just shooting me a text message, you can click the first link in the description box down below and we can begin our conversation together. Thank you so much for watching this video. These have been the 5 regrets according to that study that was done by the Toronto Sun, where first-time homebuyers are really shaking their head at their first purchase. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Try again.